Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can sign up for the Shannons Club, and Penrite Oil, offering technical assistance 7 days a week.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Classic Restos. Of course, not possible without the continued support from Shannons Insurance and Penrite Oil. And if you have a classic car, bike, truck, home and contents, you should have it with Shannons. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646, because Shannons offer us as the enthusiasts just so much more. There's the Shannons Club that you can sign up and become a member of, where it truly is your garage. Find out more when you visit Shannons online at shannons.com.au. And when it comes time for the finest in oils, coolants, fuel additives and so much more, you cannot go past Penrite. And the reasons that you can't go past Penrite are many. Firstly, Australian made, Australian owned, and they've been established since 1926. It doesn't matter what type of engine that you have, the Penrite Technical Assistance Team can offer advice 7 days a week. You can find out more when you visit Penrite online at penriteoil.com.au. And in the meantime, oil right, use Penrite, simply a better class of oil. And on today's show, if you've got blue blood pumping through your veins and your favourite shape is an oval emblem, well, this event is for you. Welcome to the 2015 Kiwanis Geelong All Ford Day. Ford Australia has been producing cars in this country for quite a long time. The Australian subsidiary of United States-based automaker Ford was founded in Geelong, Victoria in 1925 as an outpost of the Ford Motor Company of Canada. Its first products were Model Ts, assembled from complete knockdown kits provided by Ford of Canada, hence the right-hand drive, and other iconic models followed thereafter. Nevertheless, Ford is best known in more recent times for having produced the Falcon. Now, unlike the first Holden, the Falcon was originally a US model introduced in Australia in 1960. It was designed for the smooth American turnpikes, and the Australian conditions gave the first Falcon a hard time. But soon after, Ford Australia researched and developed, so the Falcon soon adapted to the demanding Australian terrain, proving to be a trusty, robust car that has lasted for decades. Since inception of the Falcon, it has proven to be Ford Australia's most popular car. Ford has manufactured over 3 million Falcons since 1960 and has topped the sales charts on many occasions, proving to be a favourite for thousands. In fact, in 2016, the Falcon will cease production. Quite a milestone for a model to run 56 years. To many, the Falcon will be sadly missed.
Well, considering that I've been making Ford Falcons in Australia since 1960, and being an absolute Ford lover, it's very disappointing to see the demise of the Falcon. And I think being part of car club scene and youth scenes, I mean, it's a sentiment that's shared pretty much right around the country, and it'll be a very, very sad day when the last Ford runs off the production line.
Moving through the 2015 Kiwanis All Ford Day here in Geelong, we have Jan. How are you, Jan?
Yes, really well, thanks, Fetch.
That is good. Now, what a rare car here. I've never seen one before, and I don't think you've seen it at home as well. A 1972 Capri, but a Scorpio, right?
That's right.
Talk about a Capri with a little bit more extra sting in the tail. Have a go at this. What's the story on this?
Gerald Clancy obtained it in 72, and since then he's been doing it up. He's done done it up for today and enjoyed the drive down. It was really good fun.
It used to be a green car when it left Ford through the back door, and it's had a colour change. It's been preserved all these years and obviously well hidden.
Yes, yeah, well, not actually well hidden. It's in his garage for all and sundry to see. But yeah, it was green. He didn't like the colour, so he decided to paint it yellow.
I guess back in the day it wasn't such a big deal. I mean, you know, to me, if the only car in the world left the factory as a certain colour, you'd keep it that way. But I guess the line of thinking was different back in 72.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, different, yep. Yeah, you wouldn't dare do that nowadays, would you?
So tell us, do you like driving it?
Yeah, it's good fun. Yeah, really good fun.
When it comes to having cars and having something a little bit different, well, I guess that's just a little bit more excitement. And when you've got a Capri like this, and the only one in the world, well, to your knowledge, well, it is, isn't it?
It is. It's a prototype, yeah.
Amazing. Jan, thanks for sharing it on today's show.
Thank you, Fletch.
With me now, Graham Munro, the chairman of the All Ford Day Committee. How are you, Graham?
Very good and a wonderful day. What a great car show.
You are the man that we hold responsible for this shindig.
I certainly am. Me and a couple of other guys putting the show together every year. We've been doing it for 24 years. It's the biggest Ford car show anywhere in Australia.
Mate, you're an exhausted, tired man, and I don't blame you for it. This is no small event to organise. When it comes Monday tomorrow, off you go again for next year. You've done it again. How many cars here this year, Graham?
We'll have 1,200 on the ground, 34 different Ford car clubs, and we're going to be chockers. We won't be able to fit another one in. We'll have to turn them away.
1,200 Fords here. That's a monstrous show.
It's the biggest Ford car show anywhere in Australia.
If you love your Fords, it doesn't get much better than this here in Australia. The Kiwanis 2015 Geelong All Ford Day here. And as Graham alluded to, just about every make of model of Ford, especially sold here in Australia, can be found here today.
Anything that Ford has ever made is here today, including a few trucks and F-Series and a whole lot.
And also, too, the calibre of this show also attracts high-profile legend race car drivers as well.
We've got Alan Moffat, Jim Richards, John Bow today, and hopefully Murray Carter will be floating around as well.
You've also got Fletch here, Graham.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about Fletch, the most important of all. And one of our best supporters has been supporting this event for years now, and we're very grateful, Mark.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right, mate.
We are grateful.
No. Look, honestly, it's about the people and the people that turn up here with these glorious cars. Graham, I'll let you get back to it. He's a busy man. He's the guy with a golf cart, and if he had his way, he'd probably have a set of extractors hanging out the back, wouldn't you?
and burning rubber. Yeah, have a good day, everyone. Enjoy the best Ford car show going.
Thank you, Graham. Now, before you go, the website.
Oh, website, All Ford Day, www.allfordday, all one word, .org.au.
Good on you, Graham. You do a wonderful job, mate. Well done.
Appreciate it, mate.
For the best in classic vehicles, home and contents insurance, why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a chat on 134646. There's also an opportunity for you to sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club, where it truly is your garage. Find out more when you visit Shannons at shannons.com.au. And for the finest in oils, coolants and fuel additives and a whole lot more, you cannot go past this mob right here. Been established since 1926, Penrite is Australian made, Australian owned, and the Penrite Technical Assistance Team is there to help us 7 days a week. Find out more when you visit Penrite online at penriteoil.com.au, and in the meantime, oil right, use Penrite, simply a better class of oil. You're watching the 2015 Kiwanis Geelong All Ford Day, and you're seeing it first on Classic Restos. Back with more in just a moment.
Classic Restos!
Moving through, cop a load of this, we have Hayden. How are you, Hayden?
How are you, Fletch? Good to meet you finally, mate. I've been waiting to do this.
My pleasure, mate.
Beautiful.
Had to pick on this bloke. I mean, have a look at this. 1964, 427 Thunderbolt, a Fairlane 500. When it comes to the 60s, down the quarter mile, the 8th mile, these things ruled supremacy. You have one here today. You've got an incredible replica. It's a beautiful car. Tell us the story, Hayden.
Yeah, I got it probably 14 months ago or so, and the body, great body as it was, but it didn't have the right running gear really. When we got it here, someone had started the motor on the way over, broke the sodium valve, punched out the piston, destroyed the motor, had just a wrecker's yard C6 in it, not the right centre in the diff, so we, for the last year, pulled it apart, rebuilt it the way it should be, with all the right gear. Yeah, so
it's absolutely awesome. We look at the intake, got the 2 4-barrel carbs up there. Before we go any further, how big are those 4 barrels?
There's 2 710 Hollies on there.
2 710 Hollies. Bit of aircon duct there to get the air in.
Yeah.
It's a big air pump. The quicker you can get the air in, and quicker you get it out, the more power you make. These are the cars they used to lift up at the front, put the rail in, they'd make a gasser out of these things. I mean, they just kept on going with, well, there's no limit to how far you could go with one of these.
Yeah, well, they also did a lot of, they'd cut and shut the stub axles, lift it up an inch or so higher, get that weight more to the back. And some of the clever guys would fill the rear bumper up with a certain type of a weight other than lead to get more traction, and then they tubbed them, and it was even better. So.
Drag cars, it's all about weight transfer, and I mean that was the beginning too of even putting the batteries in the trunk or in the rear boot area of the cars too.
Exactly, yeah, straight out of the Ford factory to Dearborn steel tubing, and they said, well, weight in the back, truck battery. Bang, work, past the NHRA rules.
It's funny too, what I love about what the Americans did, they used these big full-size cars as their race cars. I mean, you might think of Fairlane, you think of the top end, you think of the luxury side, but here we go, we've got a relatively plain Jane car, which, mind you, looks immaculate on the inside, and it did these quarter-mile passes back in their day.
Yeah, and not a big car, you know, you think Fairlane, big car, cruiser, you know, fit the whole family in. Well, you know, when they got these from the Ford factory to Dearborn steel tubing, fiberglass guards, I've got fiberglass guards, doors, plexiglass windows, you lift the bonnet up in one hand. Well, old Dick Brennan and all those boys, they just said this is how we get the weight off the front, and it worked. You know?
These cars, now 100 were made, I'm led to believe, Hayden, and from 1964 they were punching out around 10 a day at Dearborn.
Right, yeah, they did. Like, you know, 48 manuals and 52 automatic, somewhere like that. And they played in 63 with the dummy ones. They did the 63 Fairlane and they had them in the factory and said, now we know what we're going to do with the 64. Cut the towers to get that big girl in there, the 427. And again, history, 6 out of 7 championships they won in America. Won everything.
Mate, it's got the goods, and I'm sure you'll agree. I mean, there's just something about those steel wheels. I mean, it just takes us back in time, doesn't it?
Yeah, you got to have the steel wheels. I mean, when they rolled it out the factory to the drag races, give us $3,000, or a good drag racer would get it for nothing. Here's your decal kit. If you want to put this decal kit on, that's factory, or you go and put your sponsors one on there. So, you know, classic Restos or something on the side.
Classic Restos on the side. Good, yeah, absolutely. I mean, these drag cars from the factory back in the day were certainly unique. I mean, there were other brands as well that just used to come with one seat. There was no rear seat. And like you say too, the fiberglass panels, the Dow Corning glass, lightweight. This car here, around the back, got to admire the stainless steel tabs, just to stop the rear screen popping out if it did.
Well, that's right. Dick Brennan there on the board. On their first test, he went down the drag strip at the Ford test track at Dearborn. Back window popped out. It just floated in the sky, and so went back in the factory. One of those daily adjustments was clips, and Dick said, oh, we'll put some clips on there, bang, and just professional stuff.
A handful of clips was lighter than an air conditioner unit.
Yeah, oh, spot on. Clever buggers, really clever, you know.
Good on you, Hayden. Mate, thank you.
No sweat, mate.
Time for Charlie. Hello, Charlie.
How are you, Fletch?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very good, very good. Beautiful day today.
You're a happy guy, aren't you?
I'm always happy.
You'd have to be, wouldn't you?
Oh, I do.
This 1970 XW Fairmont would have to go down as one of the nicest that you'd see once again on the paddock. Beautiful, stunning, opulent car. It has a story. Tell us about it.
Well, when I purchased the car, I bought it from a friend of my son's. When we had it in storage for about 5 years, and when we decided to rebuild it, we opened up the glove box and there was a rego label in there with my wife's uncle.
What are the chances of that?
Yeah, the car is reef green, and my favourite colour is teal glow.
Yeah.
And I was going to paint it to teal glow, but since it was my wife's uncle's car, I kept it original.
So, in the family, went out of the family, came back in again?
I'm the second registered owner.
Charlie, when did the car have its paint job?
3 years ago.
Interior?
I got that. It took me 2.5 years to get the interior done. We couldn't find the colour, and I tried to keep it as original as possible. And every nut and bolt on this vehicle belongs to the vehicle.
You know, every model Falcon has got a story, but there's something about in the early 80s, an old guy came up to me and he said, you know, best Falcon ever made was the old box model. I thought the box model. He called it the box model. It was XWXY just because of its squareness. They certainly were an iconic model, weren't they?
Yeah, I love the XWs. XYs I like as well, but my favourite is the XW.
Now, Charlie, tell us what's running up under the hood.
It's a 302 Windsor. And it's all stock standard, it's all matching numbers.
It's got a little two-barrel on it, I see, too.
Yes, it has. It's all the original. Everything. I try to keep it as concourse as possible. It's all got the tags and the stamps on it. Underneath is the same. This is the first year I bring it here and I didn't put it on stands. I normally take the wheels off so you can see in all the brake mechanisms. But this year I thought I'll have it nice and easy.
Charlie, at the moment it's been an absolute pleasure interviewing you. Love your car, even your son's car in the back there. Great job, mate. What can we say? It's concourse, really is.
Yeah, thank you very much.
When it comes to the full-size Australian classic cars, this would have to go down as one of the most American-inspired cars on the Australian market. Welcome to today's show, Darren.
How are you, Fletch?
I'm good, thanks, mate. What a beautiful 1974 LTD.
Thank you very much.
Now, mate, these cars, a lot of them for the government, I think the first giveaway were the little reading lights up on the turret on the inside.
That's correct. This one here was an ex-government car, being white on white roof, white Duco, and the extra reading lights, you've seen them because they were chauffeur driven.
Weren't these a beautiful car? You have to agree. Lincoln or Thunderbird inspired. The wraparound dashboard with the right amount of wood grain. The round dials there. Beautiful console. And what about the vacuum levers there in the console? Operate air conditioning and for your air. I mean, how cool are they?
Yeah, they call them the aircraft controls.
Yeah.
And they are very cool. That's probably half the reason I bought the car. I loved them as a young bloke.
These LTDs were different to the Falcons in respect to panels. We know that they look aesthetically different, but even their back doors, the extra length, a mile of legroom. If you couldn't fit into the back of one of these, you'd have a problem. They were really on their own and set apart from other styles, weren't they?
That's correct. Actually, the back doors are 9 inches longer than a Falcon. You can certainly have a party in the back seat.
You can, that's right. What are you doing later tonight? Now, Darren, up under the bonnet, we've of course got the 351 Cleveland FMX transmission 9-inch diff. This was back in the days where hamburger with the lot.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, you couldn't get any better.
Four-wheel disc brakes?
Four-wheel disc brakes, yeah. Fletch, there's only two options you could get with this car, and that was leather trim or the cassette player.
I think what's amazing too, 1974 four-wheel disc brakes. Now, we had to go to the XF Falcon before four-wheel disc brakes became standard on a relatively basic car.
Yeah, that's, as I said, they were ahead of their time in that respect.
Darren, thanks for being on today's show. Gotta love it, mate. And, you know, it's not every day one of these comes along. That's why we've pounced on you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
How cool is this as well on any Australian car? Vacuum-operated headlight shields. How cool are they? Up they go, down they come. Good to see 1974 model car, and these actually still work. A beautiful feature from back in the day. If you have a hankering to see some classic American iron and some glorious countryside in the United States of America, you should consider a Fletch tour. Have a look at this.
You deserve a Fletch tour. See the amazing Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle events, along with museums and private collections in beautiful Pennsylvania, USA. Then it's the Motown city of Detroit and its region, taking in more die-hard stuff with incredible history. Rounding off with the Woodward Dream Cruise, the largest moving car cruise in the world.
It just makes it so much easier on yourself when Fletch picks you up, drives you around.
Laughs, lots of laughs.
More than what I expected.
I'm definitely coming back again.
Go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Fletch Tours icon for more information. Hope you're enjoying today's show. Back with more after this.
Now this guy here, he's been on Classic Restos before, and how lucky is he? He's got another opportunity. Jim Richards, how are you, Jim?
Great, Fletch.
That's all right. Good to see you again.
Oh no, great to be here. We've been here, this is our third time at Geelong All Ford Day, and it's bigger and brighter than ever.
It's pretty warm out there. We're fortunate to have the Shannons 10 above us.
We certainly are, yep. No, it's a bit hard work in the sun.
Absolutely. Give us an update on the Javelin and how you're going with your racing.
Okay, well, we ran the Falcon Sprint for the last 2 years, which we had a crash in the Javelin in 2012. And it was easier to replace the whole body shell than actually repair the car. So we've done that. It took us 2 years, but it only took 2 years because we were busy racing the Ford at the same time. So it's ready now, and our first race meeting is at the Clipsal.
Jim, I've got to say I'm very impressed with the Ford here. We've got a little 289 in there, 585 horsepower out of a 289. It just must be a rocket ship to drive.
No, it is good. I mean, it's surely got a small engine, but of course it has a weight advantage compared to the other cars. So it makes sense that if you've got a small engine, then you carry less weight.
Now, not a heavy car, Jim, so handling side of it, you've probably got that sorted out pretty well, I would imagine.
Pretty good, but of course it doesn't have any spoilers or any aerodynamic little tricks to it. So it's a bit slippery, but it's been a great car for us over the years.
Is it quite a transition for you to get out of something late model that you do have a race of and then go into something as iconic as the old Ford? I mean, do you like driving the old stuff?
Oh, I certainly do, yeah. I mean, they have got quite a few modern components in and around them, so they look like an old car, but they're really quite a good little race car.
Jim, here today, through your eyes, the 2015 Kiwanis All Ford Day here at Geelong. What's your opinion? What's your feeling on it?
Well, this is the best and the busiest one I've been to. I think the amount of people and cars here really exceeded what we've been before, and I think it's just great. It's like-minded people who like their motor cars, put them on a show, bring the family along, have a sausage and a hamburger. Great stuff.
Such a cross-section too. I mean, if you like your British Fords, they're here. If you like your American Fords, they're here. Of course, our Australian products as well. The demise of the Falcon in 2016, which is upsetting as well. But by the same token, it's iconic to think that it's ran for 56 years, from 1960 through to 2016 as well.
No, certainly, exactly. And Ford will still build cars, obviously, just not here. So Ford aren't disappearing, and who knows, the Falcon may still stay around for a while.
Good on you, Jim. It's good to see you wearing the good shirt too there, mate.
Exactly.
All right, mate. Thanks for being on today's episode of Classic Restos, and good to see you again, Jim.
Thanks, Fletch.
All right. Thanks, mate. Moving right along, 1955 Fairlane Sunliner. How opulent is this? Welcome to the show, Les.
Thank you, Fletch.
That's like having a good time here today?
Wonderful. It's a little bit hot, but it's been good.
What can you tell us about this glorious Sunliner, mate, apart from it being stunning?
Look, I bought this car in from America, and look, I've had it probably 3 years, and look, I bought it when the global meltdown was down from a family in California that was going bad for some money, and they'd spent a lot of money on this car, and I was just lucky enough to come across it. Yeah. Look, since I've had it, I've done a couple of things to it. I put a new roof on and just cleaned it up and just made it a more presentable car.
What's it like, mate, driving it along with all its style? Oh, I was going to say with the wind blowing in your hair, but you know what I mean.
I don't have that problem, but look, I'll be true, this car is an absolute joy to drive. It's got the original motor in it, the original transmission in it. We've been everywhere in the car, and when I mean everywhere, interstate, everything, to all the car shows, and it's just a beautiful car and a joy to drive.
That's good, you have to drive them. You know, when I look at something of this age, I can't help but think how proud the person would have been the day that they bought it brand new back in the United States and drove it away from the dealership.
Look, could you imagine going back in 1955 when Mum and Dad went and bought this car and came home to their kids? They would have been so proud in a neighbourhood. Yeah. And look, I was so happy when I bought the car. I got to admit, when I bought it, I didn't tell my wife I'd bought it until actually after I bought it, she actually got on some emails to say the shipping had landed. And she goes, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Oh, you'll see."
You're busted.
I was busted big time, big time. But look, she's happy with it. Look, I've had a couple of customized, but this is absolutely beautiful.
This is a top-end car. This is not the sort of car that your average American would have been able to buy. When we're talking a top-end car here, a lot of money.
That's exactly right.
What's it like to drive as a car? I mean, apart from the fact of you feeling real proud and sitting there and driving along, what's the feeling like?
Look, the feeling, without a word of a lie, it's like driving a present-day car. It's got plenty of power. The only thing it hasn't got is power steering. But you don't need it. Once you start moving, the car itself just glides along. It stops beautifully. The best part I like is when you're driving down the freeway and people are giving you the thumbs up and waving to you and they're taking pictures of you as you're driving past. It's a joy to myself and my wife because we get a kick out of people getting a kick seeing us driving along. It's really good.
Les, what powers it up front?
312. Thunderbird engine.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's got a 2-speed automatic transmission, which is original, and it just does it beautifully.
The infamous 312, they did a wonderful job on these cars. You're an interesting guy, mate. Could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for being on today's show.
Thank you very much, Fletch. Thank you. Very proud to be on your show.
Well, how good was that? Just some of their 2015 Kiwanis Geelong All Ford Day here in Victoria, Australia. I'm sure you'll agree that Graham Munro and his team do a sensational job in bringing this event together each and and every year. In the meantime, classicrestos.com.au is the website that you need for the DVD boxed sets of the show, Classic Restos merchandise, contact information regarding joining us on a Fletch tour, and the major sponsors as well. As I say at the end of every show, until next week, no matter where you're watching from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching.
You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can sign up for the Shannons Club, and Penrite Oil, offering technical assistance 7 days a week.